And I have never had such a complete feeling of calm, maybe ever. And I truly felt like, oh, this really is okay. Like, this really will be all right. Oh, hey, you guys. So I wanted to do a quick video because I had sort of another epiphany. I feel like so far I've been sharing with you guys a lot of these sort of moments of clarity that I've been having recently. And I think that's just sort of the nature of the beast, you know, when you are ready to make a big change, you get some momentum going and things just kind of start falling one after another like dominoes. So one of the things I've talked about at some length so far is this issue of people pleasing that I still have and how I butt up against that a lot when I am sort of having an internal conflict with myself between leaning into my more feminine energies and feeling the need or the compulsion to lean more heavily into my masculine energies, and how the driver behind a lot of my behavior is wanting to keep people happy, both with me and my performance, and continuing to live up to these expectations that other people have of me. So what was happening the other night is I found myself laying in bed and I was thinking about all of the things that I felt I should have been taking care of. I heard my husband running around the house. He's more of a night owl, I'm more of a morning person, so we're kind of off of each other's schedules by about 2 to 3 hours between the beginning. Like, I'm up about 2 to 3 hours before him in the morning. He stays up 2 to 3 hours after me when I go to bed at night. So I was laying in bed and I was hearing him take care of the cats and doing these things, and my heart started pounding and I started thinking to myself, like, did I forget to do this? Am I leaving this for him? Is there something else that I should have been doing more of? And none of that has anything to do with him. We've always had a really good split when it comes to who handles what throughout the house. And anytime I've felt like I have been taking on too much, I've asked him to sort of pick up the slack, and it's just never really been an issue for us. So all of this anxiety that I was experiencing, I sort of just realized I am just wanting to go above and beyond out of some nameless fear that I'm not doing enough, that I need to be somehow taking care of everything so that all of his needs are met, including even some needs that maybe he's not even thinking about. The needs that, like, it's as though I put it upon myself to anticipate all of his needs. That kind of floored me, and I was realizing I've done that for everyone my whole life. I've been told that I can even be kind of an annoying hostess because I'm watching everybody. I'm trying to anticipate what any of my guests might need at any given time, trying to ensure that they don't ever need to ask me for something, that I can anticipate a need before they feel like they have to go out of their way to ask me for something. So it's no wonder when my head starts spinning about all of these things that I start to feel anxious. And it's no wonder when I stack all of these things as priorities above taking care of myself, I end up in this place of sort of self-neglect, overwhelm, and this willingness to sacrifice what's best for me for the sake of everybody else. And so as I was laying in bed, it was in that moment, in those moments, plural, I guess, where it's sort of right before you really fall asleep and you're kind of in that in-between where, like, you're still awake and you're having lucid thoughts, but your mind is almost more malleable. Is that how you say that word? Malleable. So I laid there and I was just trying to tell myself, it's okay. You are not responsible for everybody else's needs. You need to take responsibility for your own needs. And if you're taking responsibility for your needs, guess what? That also means everybody else is equally responsible for theirs. And I don't know if it was the fact that I was in that sort of in-between waking and sleeping moment, or if I worded it differently to myself for the first time in years, but I just had this sensation, this opening up inside myself. The thing that I would most compare it to is, imagine, like, if you feel that tight clenching feeling sometimes, like right around here, close your eyes for just a second and imagine that you are standing inside of yourself behind closed double doors, and they are locked and bolted, and you are standing there to make sure that they stay locked and bolted. So now open your eyes. And that imagery came to me because I realized there were sort of two versions of me. There's the version of me that was out here looking in the camera, looking in the mirror, just, dictating my internal monologue, saying things like affirmations, telling myself these things like it's not my responsibility to anticipate everyone else's needs. But the other version of me was holding that door shut, locked up tight. And I realized when I had that sensation of opening, it was as though the version of myself that had been manning the defenses for all of these years finally threw the doors open and was willing to hear the version of me that was on the other side. And I have never had such a complete feeling of calm, maybe ever. And I truly felt like, oh, this really is okay. Like, this really will be all right. And so I realized that it's not even about hearing a message or repeatedly listening to a message over and over again. It is about truly feeling a message that you are trying to communicate to yourself. Because if you don't feel it, you will never hear it. It will never penetrate in a way that's going to allow you to make change. And when I woke up the next morning, I was so afraid that I was going to just revert to my default defenses that I've had in place for probably my whole life. And I have a couple of times, but having experienced that feeling once, I know that I can do it again. I'm actively seeking it. It's faster for me to get to it than it ever has been before. And I'm able to sort of keep those doors open for a longer period of time, because that state of calm that I had where I was just like, I don't have to be responsible for anybody else's opinions of me, anybody else's needs, anybody else's influence. And it just left me feeling open and excited, confident and comfortable, leaning into what I want and what matters to me the most. So what I recognized with all of this is that so much of any kind of pivot, any kind of transformational change that you are seeking in your life really comes down to clearing your own internal resistance. And it sounds so cliche and so stupid because, I've heard for years, you have to get out of your own way. And it's one of those things where I feel like people start throwing around phrases without there really being any good context or a clear explanation, not only of what it means, but how to put that into action in your own life. So for instance, a great example is a financial one. Oftentimes growing up, I would hear the financial advice, pay yourself first. What that means is to set money aside into savings or investments to grow for your future. A 15-year-old with her first job is hearing, oh, so what I should do first when I get my paycheck is buy the new pair of shoes I was looking at. So all of these cliches when it comes to clearing your own personal resistance, getting out of your own way, you're the only thing that's holding yourself back. You're the only thing stopping yourself. All of those things are true, but it's taken me years to get to a place where I felt the shift. And on a truly visceral level, like I have chills right now, on a truly visceral level, understanding what it means. And it's so moving because there aren't enough self-help books in the world. There aren't enough affirmations or pre-recorded meditations that can get you there. So all of that to say, another big aha moment on this journey of releasing the need to be a people pleaser and finding my way back into leaning into those feminine energies that allow me to freely express myself through aesthetics and any other means that I choose. And I wanted to share it with you guys while it was fresh, because I think it's a really important one. So thank you for listening and for holding this space for me. This might be the most vulnerable I've ever been on camera, and I would love it if we could keep growing the community. So click subscribe, click the notification bell, comment down below with your thoughts, reactions, your own experiences with this. Let me know if that double door visualization helps you, or if you've used anything else that's been equally effective. I would love to hear about it, and I would love for you guys to get the conversation going in the comments. So please jump in, please do that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.